Good evening, everybody. Back here at the Mancave with my posse, fine assembly of gentlemen who know the sports, know the Timberwolves, and this is Timberwolves Weekly, our second edition, covering the second week of the Timberwolves season. Timberwolves now stand at 4-3 after a 2-1 week. Last Friday, defeating the Denver Nuggets 119 to 116, coming back after rough rough fourth quarter and finishing out strongly. Lost to the Spurs in San Antonio, 113 to 103, and on Monday night beat the Hornets 114 to 93. So obviously 4-3, not horrible, probably not where they would want to be, but as you can see, the team is still gelling, getting used to the new players, particularly Randall and DiVincenzo. The rotation is still a work in progress. It was good to see Josh Minot start to get some meaningful minutes in that Spurs game, relieving Ingles, who, let's be honest, so far has not looked that great. But interesting through 7 games. There's some surprise teams in the NBA. Golden State Warriors. I did not expect them to be, I believe, 6-1. I have got them on in the background, playing Boston. I actually handled them pretty well through the first half. But Brett, what do you think so far? Because we didn't have you on last week for the weekly.
Yeah.
What do you think so far of the season, and then even just some of the games in this last week here?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything that was terribly unexpected post trade as far as like the first handful of games goes. I think I'm obviously going to take some time to gel. We got a real, a brand new piece with Julius Randle swapping in for an equally big piece in Cat. So there's going to be some growing pains there. Um, I think that the San Antonio loss to me, I think it was kind of a schedule loss. It was a really weird back to back with less than 23 hours between tip offs. So I'm not going to stress too much about the San Antonio loss. I think like one thing that did concern me was like from Finch's standpoint, like that's a good opportunity to like get some of those boys in there and like let's stretch this rotation out a little bit. This 8-man rotation in October is a little concerning to me. Like I don't really want to see an 8-man rotation that has Mike Conley in it in October. Like, bro, like that guy needs his rest. Like, I don't know that I want Ant playing 40 minutes. Like, these are playoff minute loads. Like that we're putting on these guys in October. I don't think that's going to be consistent. So I'm not too terribly worried about that. So I kind of just struck off that San Antonio loss. I think the one thing that was disappointing though is I would have loved to have seen some more a little more Rob Dillingham and a little more TSJ and a lot more Minot, man. I was at the preseason game in Chicago, and I think that the group that I was with left that game like, bro, I think Josh Minot's our ninth man. I don't think that's even disputable. And Finch kind of worked in Ingles as like the informal ninth man, maybe just as just kind of an early season type of just working in type of thing. And it looks like we might be moving off of that now as Ingles didn't play against the Hornets. But I think we saw some really good things against Charlotte. That 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 that's the kind of game that like you expect to and very much should win. But the way that they won it, I think we saw some really good things. We saw some really good interior passing between like Nas and Rudy. Nas got a shot going. DiVincenzo got a shot going. Conley looked a little rough in the first handful of games. Like he's just not knocking down those threes, so that was a little concerning. But I think he was like 3 for 5. And Ant Man just like firing up 11 to 12 threes a game, but he's hitting 45% of them, bro. Like it's really hard to ask him to reel it in because I don't know. There's something here about that stroke. Will it hold up? I don't know. But
Well, you know what he has to say if you have a problem with his three point attempts.
yeah, fuck him. No, but I think yeah, well this is exactly where I expected us to be. I still expect us to be an elite team in the West, and I, this handful of games I think looks exactly the way I thought it would. I think we'll get to be humming here in the next 4 or 5 games. I think we'll see some continuity and we'll see some consistency within the offense. So yeah, I don't know. Things are looking good from my end. But I'll pass it over to Steve and see what he thinks.
Yeah, I don't know. I was a little bit harsh on the first Wolves Weekly, and I still got some criticisms there because the issues that I'm seeing are still it's the effort and focus. Um, yeah, San Antonio, it just they weren't in it. Like we saw them play when they played against Denver up at and we were up at Mancave North, and that was a good time watching it. And um, especially seeing us come back and knock down Denver again, that was great, right? I always love to see that. But again, we let Denver score way too much, and we just have these stretches, like 2 3 minute stretches where it's like nobody's engaged. They don't care about the defense. They're just willing to jack up jump shots and 3 point attempts, and nobody's trying to rebound. And there's just we let people go on a 7-0 10-0 run on us, because then it's like, it's all right. We'll just flip the switch and get back into it. And against San Antonio, we couldn't do it. San Antonio was improved enough that we couldn't flip the switch and get back into them. And then we got, disinterested, whatever, and so my thing is okay, if we're not gonna, if your regular guys aren't getting it, they're not putting into it, they're tired, whatever. Well, then just say that, call it out, and just be like, all right, second half, end of the third quarter, let's throw the young guys out and just let them get some run, right? And just say, yeah, well, we were down. I thought it was a good opportunity for us to let the young guys get some time in there, and we weren't, the varsity wasn't feeling it, so we threw in the JV. I think the game against the Hornets, we looked a lot better. That's probably the closest we've looked to where we've been last season. First team we held under 100 points. That used to be our hallmark last year. We just haven't been locked in. Part of it was, the Hornets were shooting terribly, but we locked it down. We got Dillingham in, I think, with like 8 minutes left in the fourth. I mean, so they got some run. It was good to see the younger guys out there. I like that Finch in the Hornets game, because we started off bad against the Hornets. We were down like 10-0 or something, like, there's a run like that. And then he went to the bench. He brought in, DiVincenzo, Reed. He brought him in, he brought those guys in, and boom, we got a spark. Those guys are hungry and they want it, right? They want playing time. They know they're playing on a stacked team. And so I think, Finch needs to send a message like that, like, hey, if you're going to come out and you're going to be disinterested, you're not going to be focused. I got 3, 4, 5 guys deep behind you that can get this going. And I think Finch needs to send more of a message like that. We are 7 games in. We've got OKC's what, 7-0 right now? So like we're like 3 games behind them early, but we have to see this start turning the corner now, right? Then I think, win against Denver was good. San Antonio, okay. Charlotte was a good game, but now we have to see that consistency. We need to see that defensive effort, keep teams closer to 100. We need to stop seeing those lags in focus and energy. So I would like to see, like you were talking about, I'd like to see Finch hit the bench a little bit quicker, pull these guys out, give them, especially, like as soon as somebody starts showing, you get 2, 3 trips up and down the court, they ain't got it. All right, bud, come on out. That's okay. Take a mental break, whatever you need to do. No shame in that. We got a deep bench. Let's go ahead and use it and put somebody in who's going to spark, especially Minot, right? Like we were talking about Minot, he wants it this year. He put in a lot of work. Nah's looking great. He's got a great plus minus. I think we got to hit. I think we got to hit that bench sooner and provide that spark quicker. I don't know. Be naughty. What's up? What do you got?
Well, Mr. Steve, I've been hearing it everywhere on talk radio. I've been hearing it from my buddies. I've been hearing it any Wolves group that I see on the interweb. I'm going to trust Finchy on this. I believe that he thinks that the young kids aren't ready, and he's trying to establish what Timberwolves basketball is. And gosh, we've been fans for years. What is it? I mean, you go back to last year, Slim looks really uninterested now that he's gotten paid. He kind of played off of Cat. All Cat's fouls were him clod hopping into the lane, offensive fouls. I mean, Slim, he's just trying to get everybody into it. And Ingles, yeah, just let him play. I think that he's just letting him simmer, and I think it's just a matter of time before he brings him out. The Diller's a star. I'm still trying to figure out how Pop gave up the 8th overall pick for like a 2067 pick when he's going to be dead. That's crazy to me. I think Finchie knows what he's doing, and I think everybody loves him. Julius Randle is very different than Karl Anthony Towns, and I think that's affecting Slim a little bit. I'd like Slim to actually act interested. There's always interesting players that are kind of different. Ricky Henderson, Daryl Dawkins. Slim kind of has that with me. And speaking of the Conley hate lately, Mike Conley, I mean, he's ancient, dude. He's ancient, notorious slow starter too. I mean, he's been awful. Left for dead for the last 4 years, 5 years with Utah. He'll heat up. Just kind of showing the ropes. I'm not worried too much about it. The rookies, I have a feeling they're coming in. I do agree with Minot. Man, does that guy look like he wants it? I believe it was you and Brett that said that. I believe that. I believe that the Dillard's going to be a star. TSJ, kind of, he doesn't seem like a team basketball player just yet. I think Finchie's doing everything that he needs to do to get this going right, because this is a different team. We're not the top echelon defensive team. We're just trying to figure out how to make it work, and I'm not too worried about over minutes. Let's just see what happens. There's a difference between winging it and seeing what happens. Let's see what happens. Michael.
Love it. So they got 4 games coming up in the next week. Obviously, we just recapped the last week. They have the Bulls tomorrow night on the road. Speaking of which, Brett, I'm assuming you're going to be at that game.
I will be there. Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay, excellent.
No
So
ticket. I will be in the house. Yeah.
Excellent. Feel free to send us a report. There
yes.
Load
maybe some opening
player
warm-ups and
intros,
entrances and stuff like that. Send us some clippies. That'd be good.
Yes, we can put some.
Hey, you know what's funny about tomorrow too in Chicago is it is University of Illinois alumni night. So I know a lot of folks down here that are really hoping that they can do some TSJ tomorrow.
Battle gonna be there?
What's that?
Kenny Battle gonna be there?
Probably.
I like Kenny Battle. What about Kendall Gill? Come on, man.
Kendall Gill in the house.
Wow.
E. Brown. But yeah.
Do they want to? Are they going to bring in an honorary guest star, Brett Bielema, and he can cry about getting slapped around by the Gophers last weekend?
That would be amazing. But yeah, I'm getting a lot of inquiries like, "Hey, is TSJ going to play?" It's like, man, I don't know what to tell you guys. He maybe, I don't know.
Not yet.
I know it's a separate sport, but I'd love to see Jeff George be there as well.
Jeff George. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
The old gunslinger. All right, cool. But yeah, the Wolves got the Bulls tomorrow. Following night, they got the Trailblazers at home. The Heat come on Sunday, and then Tuesday they start the cup play against Portland. So 4 games in the next week. So we will definitely recap all that stuff next Wednesday. Other big news with the Timberwolves this week is the arbitration for the battle for ownership between Glen Taylor, Marc Lore, and Alex Rodriguez started on Monday. I believe the depositions have been going on since the summer, and it sounds like a 3-person arbitration team will make the final determination. Now, I believe things will probably conclude Friday. However, a decision is not to be expected until December. And should Lore and A-Rod win this arbitration, I believe they still have to go through the approval with the NBA, which to me, I would assume that's a foregone conclusion should they come out of this arbitration in their favor. I don't know that it would be a good look for the league to turn them down when they've already been partial owners for the past few years. So at stake is their agreement to buy the Timberwolves from Glen Taylor for $1.5 billion in a 3-phase process, which unfortunately for Glen, or fortunate if he gets his way in the arbitration, the team has doubled in value since then. So what the big sticking point is everybody's interpretation of a date in March where they had to have all the money secured for the transaction to take place. What I've read this week between ESPN Athletic, Brian Windhorst, Johnny Athletic, is A-Rod and Marc Loré have secured a team that has the available capital to not only buy the remaining portion of that, buy Glen Taylor's 20%. So the money is in the bank. So my assumption is if this goes in their favor, we could see Glen Taylor out of here in the next couple of months. So I know we all probably have personal thoughts on this. I've discussed this with some of you guys. This could get a little interesting, but I will start with you, Brett, and kind of get your take on this whole thing, and we can kind of go around the horn here, and I'll certainly give mine as well.
Yeah, look, I won't pretend to be an expert on billion-dollar sports franchise transactions. I mean, there's just inner workings that are beyond me. I think just kind of where I'm at is I've seen Glenn Taylor own the Timberwolves for my entire life, and it's just it. I mean, the up until like the Anthony Edwards era, we were the losingest professional sports franchise in the four major men's American sports. So it's just I just um it's very simple to me. I just would love to move on from Glenn, and I don't. It remains to be seen like what Alex and Mark can do in the long term. I know it's exciting that I think we kind of affiliate Mark and Alex with this lightning in a bottle that we have with Ant with this like instant success. And now do you attribute that to their ownership immediately? Like it's well, we also got a one of one draft pick in 2020. Like if Anthony Edwards was anybody else in 2020, like let's say we got like a Markel Fultz type of guy, we probably wouldn't be singing the praises of Alex and Mark the same way that we are. Like
Fair.
but at the same time, I think I'm at a very uneducated and like just non-marinated take. I just am ready to move on from Glenn, and I would love for something new to come in. And I think that Alex and Mark seem to have fun with it. They love to be amongst the boys courtside, so it's just a little bit of fresh energy. That's kind of where I'm at. I take my take with a massive grain of salt. I don't know what happens with stadiums and arenas and everything beyond this season, but yeah, that my take is Glenn, bless your heart, please ride off into the sunset and let's just do something new, anything new. That's where I'm at. But you can fight me on that, and I won't fight you too hard back. But that's where I'm at. So, Steve, what do you say?
Well, yeah, I remember, um, so this will put me as maybe a little bit more of a youngster than my white beard hairs would say. I remember the first year of the Timberwolves, they're doing a tour around the state. And I was in sixth or seventh grade, and they were up in my hometown of Hibbing at the community college there, and I got to go on the court and play basketball with Tyrone Corbin and Todd Murphy, and it was awesome. And I got their picture, their autographs, um, But then it was like Deadzilla until we had KG. That got just mishandled, and then you've got another guy from my hometown in Kevin McHale that was a fiasco. It just seems like Glenn Taylor is not a good judge of basketball prowess, right? He might judge people on who they are in some degree, but he's not good at I think he likes basketball. I think he likes owning a team, but he's not good at judging people who know basketball. And so I don't know that, now that he got lightning in a bottle, that he gets credit for it, and all of a sudden he should get paid off and dude, contract's a contract. If you agreed to sell something for this amount, you can try to break the contract and go to arbitration and, maybe help to squeeze out a little, a couple percentage more, but I don't think he's going to win this. The flip side of this, though, as happy as we're all be to see Glenn Taylor walk out the door is, there is a little bit of the devil, here, in which we know Glenn Taylor. We know he's going to pork something. We got a good thing going right now with Finch and Conley, running the ship. And so, as long as we keep paying him, we'll be in good shape. I feel like we're finally, for once, a really good coach front office. Saunders was amazing, but we didn't have the front office to help him out. So I think this is a really good situation. But A-Rod and Laurie, do they have deep enough pockets? right? Are they going to start shutting out? We're going to lose people because they're not going to want to spend the money because they ain't got it. They can't afford to pay a luxury tax. They can't afford to do some of these things. They're going to be like, hey, 2, 3 years down the road, we need to make more money to do this stuff to pay for the players. We need to re-renovate Target Center, or we need a new stadium, things like that. These are the things that stick in the back of my head that I get worried about. They get crazy and they're like, well, we didn't get what we want, so we're going to go, guess what? We're going back to Seattle or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that, these are the things that I get worried about is like anything we're like, hey, this sounds cool. I think we're in good shape. I don't see Taylor winning arbitration in this. He signed a contract. He can say, money, is it ready? Is it not ready? But the same situation, the money's ready right now. The money is there. The best interest of the game and everything else is to complete the transaction, keep it going. They've already been involved with the team. The owners want it. The league wants it. I think this is going to go through. The only hesitation I have is, does the group that A-Rod and Lori put together have deep enough pockets to keep everybody paid? To keep, we got to keep Tim Connolly. We got to keep him. He's a mastermind when it comes to this stuff. And Chris Finch, there might be better coaches out there right now, but he's been getting the best out of this team, right? With the players he's got, he figures it out. I get frustrated because I'm a different type of coach. I'm a little bit more energetic and yelly when it comes to coaching. So I get a little bit frustrated watching how he coaches sometimes, but he gets the best out of the players that he has. And then, I got a little bit frustrated in the Western Conference Finals because I don't think he adjusted well there. But needless to say, I like him. We don't want to lose him. We don't want to lose Tim Connolly. That's my only fear here with this is that we walk away from Glen Taylor, everybody's happy, and then all of a sudden A-Rod and Lori don't have the deep roots and ties to Minnesota. And so if they look at this more as a business transaction, they're like, hey, I just got a great deal on this team. I know how to maximize my profits. I want to do this and that. So, I just got some concerns about that. But I think Taylor's done. I don't think he's going to win arbitration. I think it's locked up. Nobody likes to have the league is better when you have a competitive Timberwolves team, right? When you've got a team in the West that can do this and provide compelling, you've got Ant, you've got Rudy, like Shaq or not, like Barkley or not, we're a lightning rod for them. And we talk about it. It's another thing that gets brought up in the NBA landscape. They like it. So, Taylor's out the door. I'm just concerned about, my only thing is this too good? I'm looking over my shoulder. Is it too good? It's like you got the hot blonde, right? And she's nice and she likes sports and she likes to eat pizza. And you're like, do you have a tail? What's going on here? Why is this? Something is weird to me. So I don't know. That's just my fears, my concerns. Maybe I'm a little paranoid. Be not, what do you got?
Well, of course, I'm on this show because I'm the village idiot. I
Can
don't
wait.
know.
Can you wait to do that until I'm done having a beverage here? I'm going to spit take all over my laptop.
I disagree with all you guys. Number one, Glen Taylor, a self-made millionaire, graduate of my daughter's alma mater, my stepfather's alma mater, Minnesota. Him and Arnie Carlson, they saved this team from being literally sold down the river to Aram in New Orleans. He came in. You can say what you want about him. He's a very smart business guy. If he didn't have any legs to stand on here, do you think he'd be fighting this? I hear his wife, Becky, cooks a great spaghetti and lasagna, too. I think that's amazing. Glenn is Minnesota, and I do not trust Peter Lorre or Alex Rodriguez at all. I don't want any part of that. Glen Taylor did screw up our salary cap. How did he do that? Well, he paid Kevin Garnett, like a 21-year-old kid, $278 million. Set us back for sure. But KG was going to Chicago with Brett if he didn't do that. 100%. The Joe Smith thing, you know what? We can cry about that all we want, but if you ain't cheating, you're not trying to win. How many people like George Steinbrenner, any of the owners in any of the major sports have pulled that off? I am, and by the way, I love chicken wings. I eat chicken all the time, and I appreciate that Glenn supplies that. And I just think that it's going to be a better thing if we keep with our guy, dude. I mean, he wouldn't be fighting this if he didn't have a leg to stand on. And I just hope it all works out in the wash. I'd rather have a Minnesotan own this. Do you trust Peter Lorre or A-Rod? I sure don't. So I'm going to leave that to you, Michael.
Well, first, I'm going to have to make sure I put the explanation for the Peter Lorre reference because I didn't get
Peter Lorre.
Yeah, I didn't get it when you first started saying it before we went on live. So
he was on Frankenstein in Casablanca, man.
Yeah, well, movies that you watch that I don't. But anyways, anyhow, I mean, everybody made valid points about that. I think one of the things that I think all of you made a valid point about Glenn. He has kept the team here. He's been loyal to keeping them here. However, the NBA and anybody that is associated with the NBA knows the fees that come with an expansion team and or moving a team are ridiculous. So Seattle and Vegas, let's be honest, this league will probably stand up franchises there. They should have taken it from the Supersonics, but the idea that they're going to take a team that has an excellent fan base, gets excellent ratings, has star power with Ant in the 15th or 16th largest market, depending upon who you talk to, in a 30-team league is ridiculous. They're not going anywhere. The league won't allow it. The days of Art Modell packing shit up and going from Cleveland to Baltimore in sports in general is over. Unless you have a team that won't supply a stadium, can't get fans in the stands, etc. I mean, and you see the landscape of sports, not only in the NBA, but everywhere else. A lot of teams are getting the stadiums that they need. Some of them are public and privately funded. I know the Wilfs, everybody was complaining about US Bank Stadium. If I'm not mistaken, the state's portion is more than taken care of and was taken care of years ago. So to me, that's all hogwash. However, from the moment that KG left, I believe it was in 2007 until about 2017, 2018, when we got Jimmy Buckets, which was a freaking disaster. This franchise I probably went 5-6 years at one portion in that time frame without even watching them at all, let alone, outside of seeing Kevin Love and some of these up and comers and settling for the same 20-win seasons year after year. That was under his watch. And then I started thinking about some of these trades that were all under his watch too. And I mean, let's be honest, the first, whatever was it, 4 years with Harv and Marv, did they really count? I mean, I don't think the team ironically, the first 2 seasons they started out decent.
Musselman.
Because Musselman actually had them playing and they wanted to tank for the lottery picks. They ran him out of town. So that it extends beyond Glen Taylor's ownership. This franchise has been in peril since the fucking day they arrived in this state. Let's be honest. So Glen Taylor is a massive part of that. I give him credit for keeping them here. I give him credit for spending money to go over luxury tax. However, let's not forget, Glen Taylor did not do that until the last couple of years when we started winning again and going to the playoffs. Donyell Marshall for Tom Gugliotta, that was on his watch. Leitner for frickin' Andrew Lang and Spud Webb on his watch.
You wouldn't do Donyell Marshall and Tom Gugliotta?
KG for Al Jefferson on his watch. The fiascos with Flip
on request
with Kevin McHale, all on his watch. And the last thing I will say, and this is where I will end this, and as you can see, I want A-Rod and Lorre to get the franchise. I really don't believe that they'll be allowed to move, and I think the NBA will pass this. So hopefully they win the arbitration. My biggest gripe with Glen Taylor is the greatest player in franchise history has nothing to do with the organization. His number is not hanging in the rafters. And to quote KG, I don't deal with motherfucking snakes. And Glen Taylor's a snake. And I'll leave it at that.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Dropping that one like it's hot.
All right. Clear it up. But hey, Glenn, appreciate it. But your time has come. My buddy Jared Allen has a horse. You can hop on it and ride off into the fucking sunset.
Yes, sir.
All right. Gentlemen, it's been an honor. We will do this again next Wednesday night. Like I said, the Timberwolves got 4 games, including the start of the what's the name of it again? The cup that the Lakers
Emirates
hosted.
Cup.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Emirates.
Yeah.
We have Portland 3 times in like 5 days. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's nuts. I don't know, but I think by the third game, people are just gonna be throwing punches and stuff. It's gonna be just nuts.
I think three games with the Portland Trailblazers should remedy a lot of woes, right? We should be, yeah,
Yeah.
we should
I
find some rhythm in that
with you.
stretch.
hope to see a lot of Dillingham. That's what I'm hoping
Yes.
for. A lot of
Yes,
Dillingham.
yes. If we can see him at the start of the fourth quarter, even better, or even start getting some meaningful minutes. We'll see what happens. My assumption is at some juncture, unfortunately, knock on wood, somebody might get a little dinged up. You'll start to see a little bit different of a rotation. We've already seen it with Minot taking some Angles minutes, so be interesting to see. But I think we'll learn a lot about the team after these next 4 games. I think once you get to that, even with the new team, with Randall getting here, DiVincenzo, after about 10 games, you got to stop using the everybody's gelling excuse. They've been together. I know they didn't come until right before training camp, but I mean, this trade happened, what, 5 weeks ago? You're talking about another week or two now, 6-7 weeks, get it figured out.
Yeah.
So, all right,
We're
Jeff.
not winning it. We're seeing what happens.
Yes. And yeah. All right. Anyways, my assumption is we won't hear nothing about the arbitration this week other than that it's in the 3 arbiters' hands and we'll find out something in December. So we don't need to discuss it. I think everybody knows where we stand. So we'll see how that plays out. And really, at the end of the day, it shouldn't affect the team. It didn't in the playoffs last year when this thing reared its ugly head in March. So hopefully the Timberwolves keep on keeping on, and we will get together next week and discuss their next 4 games. All right, gentlemen. It's been a blast. We will see you next week.
Heck
Later,
yeah.
bye.
All right, boys.
Good evening.
I'm